Welcome to Unleash Leadership, the podcast where bold leaders and changemakers come together to share their stories, strategies, and insights for creating a lasting impact on society. Karla Blanco is your host. For over 28 years, she has been navigating the complexities of the corporate and government worlds, a journey that's taught her that authentic leadership isn't just about climbing the ladder. It's about lifting others as you rise. Along the way, she uncovered the unwritten rules that drive success, the ones no one tells you about, but that can define your career and legacy. On this podcast, she'll sit down with extraordinary guests from around the globe, leaders, visionaries, and innovators who are leaving their mark on the world. Together, they'll explore their journeys, uncover their tips and tricks, and dive into the challenges they've overcome to inspire you to excel in whatever you're facing. Whether you're climbing the corporate ranks, building your personal brand, or leading change in your community, this podcast is your space to grow, learn, and unleash the leader within. So grab a notebook, get ready to take action, and join us on this journey to unleash our leadership potential. Before we dive in, make sure to follow Karla on Instagram, LinkedIn at Karla Blanco Coach, Karla with a K, and YouTube at Karla Blanco Show to stay connected and get even more leadership tips and updates.
Our guest today, Tarek Taha. With over 30 years of engineering expertise in the transportation sector, is renowned for his passion for developing talent and transforming organizations from within. His groundbreaking rotational program has propelled over 100 engineering careers, reshaping how his company nurtures new talent. As a Maxwell Leadership certified coach, Tarek combines strategic insights with genuine warmth to help leaders and organizations achieve their highest potential. His people-first approach has generated millions in savings while fostering dynamic teams that consistently surpass expectations. Celebrated for his engaging storytelling and personalized touch, Tarek is the trusted advisor for leaders ready to drive meaningful change and innovation. Welcome, Tarek. It's an honor for me to have you here on Unleash Leadership podcast. I would like you to share about your story. I know that there was a transition point. You were just going up on the leadership ladder, but then something happened in life. And I would like you to share that with our audience.
Sure. Thank you, Carla. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I was chasing the American dream, if you will, climbing the corporate ladder, and but then all of a sudden I had a life-changing experience, and so that really was. I started getting fevers that were really high and unexplained. And to cut to the chase, I had an infection on my lungs that had later gone to my brain. And so that really shortcut all of my plans because before that, I was in the best shape of my life. Like I said, I was having success at work. And I found myself in a hospital bed texting my best friend my bank account passwords because I didn't know if I would survive the night. And so thankfully I did. I did survive brain surgery, emergency brain surgery at a small hospital in Arkansas. And I would say out of that really came a desire to pursue my real purpose. I knew there was something more, and there's nothing wrong with success at all, but success for its own sake was feeling a bit empty to me. And so I really started to find that I've found myself drawn to leadership books and podcasts, and I knew about John Maxwell, but I started listening to more of the podcasts. My company paid for me to go to a leadership retreat that really opened my eyes to what's possible in the world. And so really I started changing what my definition of success was.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
Tell us about the different mentors and coaches that you found on that journey
Right.
in leadership.
Yeah, it's interesting. If I had to think about three mentors I had in my life, the first was my band director. Her name was Pat Ellison. And the best thing that she did for me and my wife, Susanna, was she convinced her to stop dating the person she was dating and to date me. So that was really good.
Amazing.
And then the second one was my professor, Dr. Emhoff. And he was a man who could have been retired long ago, but he decided to stay in, and he really had a passion for mentoring students, and it was just tangible. And so he spent a lot of his extra time just investing in the success of his students. He's somebody who really impacted my life quite a bit. And I always remember something he said, which was he quoted a proverb, and it was Proverbs 4:7, and he said, "With all thy getting, get understanding." And that's something that's really stuck with me and been helpful to me in my leadership journey, is that you often don't know what's underneath the surface. And so it's best to ask the right questions to get understanding first. And then the third mentor is the best boss I've had, a man named Gary Wicker, and he hired me at the company I'm currently at. And Gary really built a wonderful department of engineering that was really a place you could grow. He gave me the first opportunity to lead people, and showed me what a big responsibility that was. And he also gave me some tough, tangible feedback that I could take action on. I've always appreciated him for that.
Well, I would like to go deeper on that
Sure.
learnings from your mentors. So, when you talk about feedback and that tough love feedback, can you elaborate if there was a beginning space for that, and then how you learn to embrace that feedback?
I love that question because it's not nobody who likes to get bad feedback. I don't, but but I think deep down, and I find this with young employees that I lead and coach and mentor, is that we really want to know the truth, whether we like it or not, whether it stings or not. And so I would say what I appreciate about Gary is that he really gave me, there it was a project I recall that didn't go as planned, and I had a part in that. And he really gave me some tangible things that I could do next time in order to better connect with some of the stakeholders to avoid that problem in the future. Really, it was something that would be helpful to anybody, especially early in your career. It's always best not to surprise a leader in a meeting with new information that is about their team. So it's best to have a meeting before the meeting, if you will. And so I learned that through some hard knocks, but I'm glad I learned it early.
I love that because that was a lesson on influence, on how to connect with the people and the decision makers before the meeting happens. That's number one, but also being specific on the feedback, because I would like to tell our leaders that when you provide feedback, you got to be very specific so people can take action on that, because when you are so general, it's very sometimes even confusing.
I would agree with that. And I would also say, Carla, that sometimes if you think you're being nice by not telling somebody the honest feedback, you're really doing them a disservice and not allowing them to grow and change and improve.
I will tell you a story about that.
Wonderful.
When I started as a leader more than 15 years ago, the first year I got 100% on all the surveys from employees. So I was really proud of myself. And I went on a meeting with my boss, and he was sharing about the year and my performance. So I was expecting just accolades. But then he told me, Carla, the problem we have with you is that you are behaving as a mom. And I was really upset, Tarek.
Mhm.
And being a Latina, you can imagine, I told
Mm.
him, you are becoming really chauvinist because you won't ask a colleague that is a male that he's behaving as a dad. But later, I talked with my mentor, and she told me, Carla, why don't you focus on what he wants? He wants you to grow. And if you are pleasing all your team members, they are not growing. So you really need to really help them grow and just point areas of growth. It's not just about, this is not just a party or everyone should be happy. So
Right.
thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
And I know there are challenges in our career and our journey. Is there any challenge that come to mind that you would like to share with the audience about your learnings from that challenge?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a general answer, but I think that one of the things that we do is just human, is just to compare yourself to others. And so whether it's going on LinkedIn and looking at your peers and seeing that maybe some of your colleagues have risen faster than you have, or whatever that might be within your company, just starting to get into a mode where you think and say it's not fair because somebody else is moving more quickly than you are. I think the learning there is that we're each on our own journey, and so I need to define success for me. You would need to define it for yourself, and I think that could look differently. Not everybody could be, a Steve Jobs or an Elon Musk or Ariana Huffington or somebody like that, right? So different levels of success in between. So I think just realizing that success is a personal journey, and the more comfortable you can be being you, the more comfortable you'll be with your life.
Absolutely. And everyone is unique and everyone adds value from that uniqueness.
Right?
I really appreciate that.
Yes, of course.
Well, I would like you to share
Mhm.
about a program that you did set up about rotational for leaders, a
Yes.
rotational program for leaders. So,
Yes, it's something that I was asked to set up by my leadership in 2016. And so as we bring new engineers into the company, instead of just going into a role like I did years ago and just growing from that, we actually do 3 6-month rotations around the company within engineering and technology and in the business. And so it's a really neat way for engineers to build a network early, to learn different skill sets. And I mentioned network. I think that's so important. And I think new engineers don't understand the value of that until they get further down the road. And then they'll realize by their third rotation, all the people they can call on as colleagues, and that will help them build their career in the future. And so it's really been wonderful. We bring in a professor from the local university, and they get training on public speaking, and then they get to present in front of our senior leadership um, 3 times during the program. And so it's really been it's been a privilege for me to be involved with. We've had more than 100 engineers now in the program from probably, I think, 12 to 15 universities. So
what an
it's
impact. Congratulations on
thank
that.
you.
That's a great
Thank you.
footprint.
Yep.
And I know maybe a book is coming. So
Yes.
share about that.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So it has to do with my story. And so, like I would say that I awakened to my purpose out of an event that we talked about earlier, almost dying from a sudden, long-term brain infection. And so sometimes the worst things in life that we think will be the end of us actually launch us into a new part of our career. So I would say even now I've been in my current role for 5 or 6 years, but I have changed on the inside. And I think that's really something that's so important as I grow from listening to podcasts and reading and learning and really trying to add value to other people. I want to give that gift. I want to look back 10, 20 years to myself because we're best equipped to help the person we used to be. And so that's essentially what the book will be, helping people awaken to their purpose. And I think, like I wouldn't have heard this message when I was really busy trying to climb the ladder. I wouldn't have been able to receive it. Now I can. And I just have to think there are other people out there just like me that this message is for. So yes, a book is on the horizon. I currently write a weekly blog on Substack that I enjoy writing and sharing my ideas week to week. But my wife has said before, Tarek, don't you have a book? You've written like 70 blogs so far,
Yes, you're
and
right.
yeah. So I think the content is in there, but yes, that's something that I'm working on.
Well, we are looking forward to learn more about it and to have you, when their book is out, come in and share more about that book. I follow you and I get really inspired. So, and we will share with the audience where
Mm-hmm.
they can look into your newsletter, connect with you more about that. But something that called my attention today was about a journey you shared about from beginners to masters.
Mm,
And I thought that was brilliant how
mm,
you shared those examples. Because as you were mentioning, network is so important. But if I think about myself, many years ago, I was sharing with my son, oh, if I go to a conference, nowadays is very different than when I started. When I started going to conferences, I will go after the event, hide on my room, relax and chill out. Now I'm looking forward to connect with people because I know the value others bring to our lives. So
yes.
share about that journey from beginners to masters.
Oh, sure. Yeah, you're referring to a LinkedIn post I
Exactly.
wrote, and I think I think it had to do with being positive. So maybe we undervalue positivity. Now, I'm not talking about, I just cut my arm off, but it's going to be okay. And I'm talking about being intentionally positive. So perhaps unreasonably positive. And so, really, when you focus on being positive, and I don't get this right all the time, but it changes your brain and it changes how you interact with people. And so I very much understand what you say about, because I would call myself a sociable introvert. I really enjoy talking to you and I like people. But I tend to hit my limit. But like I look forward to conferences and I enjoy engaging with people. And I think we can learn so much from other people, Carla, that we just can't learn from a screen, from watching YouTube videos, from things like that. So I think I always gain something when I learn from another person's journey.
Yes,
So
we enrich every other's perspective
yeah.
and we can create more impactful solutions when we interact with others and when we are open to other cultures, etc. And I know your origin is a mixed origin
Yes.
because you are half from Egypt,
Yes,
your father, I
that's
think,
right.
and your mom from US.
Yes.
Can you share about that?
Sure, I'd love to. Yeah, we're filming this in Arizona, and this is the state. This is actually the city where my parents met. My dad an engineering, the first engineering PhD in industrial engineering at Arizona State, and he went to Scottsdale, or to school, Tempe, and he met my mother. She was going to school there, and so that's where they met, and he got a job in Oklahoma and moved to Arkansas. I spent most of my childhood in Arkansas, where he was a professor for 30 years. My mother, God rest her soul, I think about her every day, but she was a media specialist, and so she really, you mentioned writing, she gave me my passion for writing, and she did much of my editing of my papers during college, and so she taught me how to write succinctly, get to the point, and not not to overuse the English language in order to make your point, just to make your point and get out. But I love my mother, love my dad, and just very thankful. I have a brother who's a professor. He's in he's a PhD. He lives in California. My sister is a professor and lives in New Jersey. So I'm in the middle in Arkansas. So
Okay, that's so inspiring
yep.
because you got from the engineering side from your dad, the writing side from mom, and also you are married to Susan. So can you share what have you learned from those years of marriage with Susan?
Oh yeah, my Susanna and I met, as I mentioned, from my band director back in the day, and back then, believe it or not, I had a great head of curly hair and a big mustache. But yeah, we've been married 33 years, and we, marriage is a hard thing, but I've learned so much. She's my best friend, and we really enjoy each other's company. We have one daughter, Sarah, who just got married to her husband, Nate, and they live in Kansas City. And so no grandkids yet, but my wife tells me when the grandkids come, it may be time to change address. I don't know, but yeah, we're very thankful. And then we have two dogs at home, so they keep us busy.
Enjoying each other.
We enjoy each other. Yes, yes. We've decided we need new hobbies, so we may pick up pickleball, which seems to be all the rage these
Oh,
days.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I would like you to share with us about what unleash leadership means to you.
I love that because when I think of leadership, I think of what Patrick Lencioni said, that to say there's any other valid definition of leadership other than servant leadership is not right. So servant leadership. So when I think of unleashing leadership, it's really counterintuitive. And John Maxwell talks about this a lot as well. It's really about adding value to other people. If I see myself as a person of value, then I'll see value in other people and I will want to add value to them. And so one of the things I teach our young engineers is that you need to add value and bless and benefit as many people as you can, and that will help you grow your influence. You don't have to be C-suite to have influence. You can have influence as a lower level person, brand new person, or obviously as you grow your career, that will grow. But it's all about growing your influence, and so that is what I believe unleashing leadership is. So the more people you can influence, the more you will grow your career and your life.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, for sharing your learnings, and for connecting with us.
I love my time with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.